So, apparently, Black Myth Wukong is more than likely going to be coming to the Xbox sooner than you think. Shout out to Hazardor Gaming, Dragon of Dojima. They put on their Twitter post, Black Myth Wukong has been rated by ESRB, Xbox Series, PS5, PC. I do not know for certain if PC was actually, if Xbox Series was in the initial rating, but at the end of the day, it's now on the rating. It seems like the game is more than likely going to be making its way to Xbox pretty soon. It was always going to be coming to Xbox. All this nonsense talk that people were putting out there saying, oh, Xbox is not enough to basically sell the game. My dude, there are 60-something million of the PlayStation players and 30-something million of the Xbox owners. Anyone who's a third-party developer only need to look at the whole stats and be like, that's 90 million possible people we can sell our games to. I think for the longest time, my fellow PlayStation fans, you've, in a sense, overestimated, the PlayStation platform from the PS4 mindset. However, PlayStation is no longer at that position right now, and PC has kind of, in a sense, sucked a lot of the PlayStation 4 owners. I think that's likely what has happened because there's a percentage of the PlayStation 4 owners that are on the PS4 still. I think some of them may have taken the route to move to PC because I did move back to PC from PlayStation 4, but I still maintained, my PlayStation account. I still maintained, a lot of the games I played and ecosystems like The Division 2, which is pretty much, I'd say, my highest played game ever, from one specific game, and even as a franchise as a whole. 1 and 2, I think I dropped a couple thousand hours and change in total on both of them. So already you can probably start to see that, yes, they've been able to harvest and farm money from the PC platform. A lot of things are actually, in a sense, very beneficial for this game on the PC side. And let me go ahead and delve into that a little bit. I was looking at a post from, can't remember the name of, I think Daniel Ahmad, I think that's the name of the Twitter user. And they were talking about how God of War Ragnarok did not resonate well among Chinese players because the game did not have enough Chinese localization, of which China is a really big market. Wukong, on the other hand, literally gave you Chinese English. That was all they gave you. So I'm sure that also added to the fact that a lot of folk who were in that region could access the game, who could actually speak the language, or who preferred the language, which is crazy. I preferred playing the game with the Chinese language because I watch a lot of Chinese media. My dude, years and years of Chinese content, and even though I cannot speak more than say maybe a few phrases in Mandarin, I can actually now separate successfully Cantonese versus Mandarin, which is a big achievement for a guy from Rando, Africa. So, hey, and I didn't get any formal training. So that's how much I really do enjoy the language and the way that it's spoken, its nuances, and a lot of its depth, with translations, of course. But back to the story at hand. I think this is very important. So for you that are on the Xbox platform, guess what? You're getting this game, and it's going to be a fun title for you to play if you're interested. And the game now has to actually wait for your timetable and your readiness. If you choose to buy it when, it launches on the very first time, hey, by all means, get yourself a copy. If you wanted to wait a little bit, hey, by all means, let it wait a little bit. Wukong is the other game that's coming from another studio published by 505 Games that's also coming to the Xbox platform. So you do have the opportunity to be able to play yourself a good variety of games. And again, that's one of the really interesting things. Do not let anybody say or downplay 30,000 users of the Xbox ecosystem from the console perspective of the series. That's a very interesting misnomer at the end of the day, but I think for the most part, it has gone unchecked, but that's a whole bunch of nonsense because other developers are going to be leveraging this platform. I strongly believe that the mistake anybody can make is thinking that developers do not want to make games for the Series S, or just because they've mentioned some difficulty means that they're not interested in actually making the games for the Series S. Nothing is easy. Everything has its challenges. Even the developers of the Callisto Protocol, at least their creative director, Mr. Schofield, came out on a Dan Allen's gaming podcast and said one of the biggest challenges they had was actually getting the game ready for the PlayStation platform because they got a new console in the middle of the generation. So even they themselves had challenges with PlayStation, which seemingly has a lot more in terms of favorability to developers. Every developer's situation and scenario is unique. And we all knew that hardware that's actually similar to the Series S was already playing Black Myth Wukong. I mean, the Steam Deck was playing Black Myth Wukong and lower tier hardware. So again, it was not necessarily that the developers, were having problems with this hardware. Nah, the developers just needed time, or maybe they needed an incentive or got an incentive to basically prioritize another console port or not prioritize the Xbox port. That's besides the question. However, what's on the ground now is this game is running wild. PlayStation, learn something. Black Myth Wukong has basically eaten pretty much into the top tier sellers for all of PlayStation of all time. And it's tracking to actually do that. We thought God of War Ragnarok was more than likely going to cause this, rift. We also wrongly assumed that Spider-Man 2 was probably going to be at this point, but it doesn't seem like it's getting close. This is pretty much a second-ish attempt of an indie developer. I say indie developer, independent, studio publisher mix in that sense, because Game Science pretty much also published a game. They got investor funding from, a private investor, and, it was really interesting. At the end of the day, this has pretty much, giving a blueprint that PlayStation's games are pretty much 1 in a million now, and anybody can pretty much come out here, not anybody, but whoever is well prepared and well equipped can get the job done and achieve numbers that even PlayStation has to envy. And so what this Wukong game is going to go do on the Xbox, right? It's going to go add to its tally. PlayStation has limited itself severely by keeping this so-called exclusivity paradigm in a world where software sales are now the entirety of the conversation, because hardware sales ain't going to do anything to you. In fact, what you need is hardware to be as ubiquitous as possible so that your software can land there. So sure, sell more consoles, but the software seller is happy to be able to get 70% per sale on your platform. However, this is all well and dandy. We're going to see when a release date is announced. I was just basically ranting about this interesting stuff. I think I'll probably put that for a separate video, because we need to kind of in a sense, examine software sales and basically keep its place as, I think, the #1 priority for any company that walks into gaming. Sales are basically what it is. Except you're making periphery. If you get what I mean, then, your market, your entire, market depends on just hardware sales. But if you're in gaming in one way or the other way, you make games or you support games or whatever, man, you need games to sell all day, every day. So thanks for watching the video. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. I appreciate you guys' time and audience. Hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.